Load on up, let's get ready to go. MaNa and DnS head to head here to continue their route through the IEM Shanghai 2016 qualifiers. To the bottom right hand side of the map from Team Liquid is going to be our red Protoss player. Let's hear it if you're cheering on MaNa. And in the upper left hand side of the map is going to be our blue Protoss player. We just take down Zhuge Liang in quite the lengthy series. It was, or is, our blue Protoss from Against All Authority, DnS. Set up into this, see how things are going to go. Again, let me know what's up in the chat. Let me know how we're all doing. Don't forget to just let me know who you're supporting. Let me know if you're alive out there today while you're watching the IEM qualifiers. And as we go into this, and just wait to see what the plan is going to be out of both of these players in the PvP. PvP, a matchup where you look at the matchup, it's one of these matchups where, yes, you generally open aggressively with the double gate, the double gas. Sometimes you can see a fast expansion coming down, and then it can be punished, so I mean, there's a few different sort of ways to play it, but generally the double gate, especially on a map like Frozen Temple, where double gateway units, such as Stalkers or Adepts, are going to get across the map very quickly because of the short rush distance. On a map like this, the double gateway is pretty much the go-to way to play, so you'll see a Cybercore coming down for both players as well. Pretty much exactly mirrored builds so far, both players with, well, actually slightly different gas counts. DnS mining with 3 workers on gas, MaNa mining with 2 workers on gas, so you'll have a few more minerals to play with, and DnS will have a little bit more gas to play with, so that might come into play when it comes to whether players are going to be playing, maybe MaNa plays a Stalker-based open and DnS plays an Adept-based opener with a faster Stargate, for example. So let's see how this is going to go. I mean, we'll find out when these gateways, well, not when just the gateways are finished, but when the Cybercores finish, that's when we'll really find this out. We'll figure out exactly what is going on and whether it's going to be kind of Stalkers or Adepts. Again, I'd say generally Adepts from DnS. From the extra gas, it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it allows you to go into the Adepts and then a Stargate very quickly. Whereas MaNa probably with the extra minerals looking for some Stalkers, but we'll see in just a few moments. As DnS throws out a Terran logo. Again, it's definitely been very very exciting, very interesting, all of these chat channels with the emoticons lately. I really hope they just keep on adding more. Like, I really, really hope they just keep on adding more. It'd be good. Alright. So, I'm just waiting a few moments here, waiting to get into this once again. MaNa just with the quick pause. We'll, of course, be resuming ASAP. And back into this before you guys know it. So again, how you all doing? Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget, if you do enjoy the stream, you can hit that follow button so you want to go live again in the future. And yeah, we've got a few, obviously we're working towards a few things here. We're working towards our sub goal. We can talk about that later though, because we're actually back in game. So, perfect. We can just talk about that a little bit later on instead. So, DnS is going to come in here with this probe, and he's going to have a little bit of a look around, a little bit of a scout around to see what is going on and what is happening. So probe just having a little bit of a scout to see what's up, and just see the double gate now. MaNa did the same thing, he came across the map, scoured. He's going to walk back just to take the watchtower on the left. We'll see if DnS is going to do the same. Looks as though he is. So players are still going to take the watchtower here early on to get some information. As we see, both players actually going to go into the Stalkers. Now DnS, he had that bit extra gas, and well, we'll still see where he wants to use it here in the near future. As we see, MaNa is actually going to start at more Stalkers, as is DnS. Is still pretty even so far. No real difference between them. MaNa with a few extra minerals in the bank, DnS with a little bit more gas. You know, very, very minor differences. As MaNa actually cuts probes at 23, which is, well, just a little bit shy of perfect saturation. DnS is going to go a little bit over saturation in here as well. I imagine because maybe he wants to send one of his workers down to build a Nexus or so and just use it to build things while keeping full saturation. I mean, it's a very minor difference as MaNa is actually going to be the first to expand. DnS going to expand pretty quickly behind this too. So both players just a few Stalkers up, and just looking to see which way this is going to go. I mean, 4 Stalkers from both players here early on. Now DnS and MaNa are both going to go into double sentry piece as well, so it's actually just completely mirrored builds up until this point. As we're going to see this Mothership Core is going to sneak around, head into main base. Obviously these Stalkers should be able to push that back pretty easily and stop it from really getting too much done here. As MaNa comes in, he's going to see one Stalker, Mothership Core. I mean, he's going to, yeah, he's just going to have to recall immediately. There's no way you can survive that if he just sticks around, so recall an ASAP. and gets back home with the mothership core. So it costs him a little bit of energy, but he does get a good scout, a good continued scout as to what is going on in his opponent's base, more so than just the 2 gates he saw earlier. He sees that this is going to be a robo facility up for DNS very soon, so MaNa's going for a little bit of a different tech tree. He's going to go for the Twilight Council, which honestly, I feel I prefer a little bit more. Blink is starting up here, so I just find that the Blink play is generally just so much more successful in the PvP, because with Blink, especially if you can play it well, you have so much kind of, throughout the game, your Stalkers become so much stronger. Your Stalkers are just sort of like, you know, they gain so much map control, and they can actually push out onto the map and really just kind of keep on poking around and look for opportunities to just do damage here and there. Obviously, MaNa are going to go into a robo behind this. Now, one thing as well, which could happen from this, is that maybe MaNa decides to go into kind of a Blink Stalker Disruptor play, while DNS, maybe he goes for, say, something along the lines of just kind of Immortal Charged Archon or something like that. You know, so potentially what we're seeing here is by the choice of going Robo or Twilight as their first tech structure, we're maybe seeing the rest of the kind of game being defined in terms of what compositions are these players going to be going for. So this Phoenix just coming in towards the upper left-hand side, having a little bit of a look to see what is going on. Third Nexus goes down as well right now from DNS, so DNS going down with a Nexus. I'm just going to be seeing this Phoenix hallucinated, just going to be kind of chased away by a few units there towards the front, so DNS just kind of pushing that Phoenix back a little bit, and yeah, we're going to see the Immortal just on the way out, so Immortal coming up here, kind of set up ready to go. Mothership core in the main base, just hanging back as well. I mean, nothing really too exciting just yet. I mean, we're about to see that Blink starting to come into play for MaNa, and, well, look at this. He's warping in sentries across the map too, so I wonder if, I mean, he might just be going in for cancel on the third base. Use the sentries as a way to kind of block Immortals off from coming into fight, especially if he fights in this sort of location here. Some force fields here can really just push his opponent away, so we'll see what's going to be. Whoa, DNS cancels that third. I think he just saw a glimpse of them units, so he just cancels it for saying, well, I'm not in position. It's going to cancel. Bit of a shame, because he was very close to kind of, he's very close to kind of being ready here. He's going to add 5 extra gateways now, something MaNa's already done. So MaNa's got a whole bunch of extra gates, and so he's going to have a whole lot more production in terms of gateway units. He's got that Blink to use as well, but there is multiple Immortals up for DNS, which is where that problem may very well, you know, this is where DNS may run into a problem. But with 5 extra gates, they're going to be finished shortly, so all we really need to see here from, oh well, wait for this, there's going to be a force field on the ramp. Oh man, this is going to be pretty brutal. Force field on the ramp, a couple of force fields from low ground from DNS. We're going to see another force field being, another front overcharge being popped. Another force field will come down, and, well, DNS just can't get into his main base. MaNa obviously had this plan from quite a while ago, and, well, now he's executing it, and we're going to see DNS. He's just going to start sending a counterattack across the map, but is that really going to be able to do enough here? I don't think so. Force field's ready to come down once again on this ramp if necessary. A single Immortal comes out, and we'll see a force field. These sentries will just lift up as they get low and go into the warp prism, as we see the Immortals going down. I mean, MaNa's just going to shut down all of the production here for his opponent. But an overcharge is going to pop as the Mothership core just fall towards the front. Stalker's being warped in as well. They have Blink, something which DNS does not have. He tries to start a Dark Shrine in his natural. A little bit of an act of desperation here, just to try and help recover from this. And one very well executed move from MaNa is basically just sealed the deal for him right now. As we're going to be seeing that Dark Shrine. It's pretty much the last hope for DNS, but even then, I mean, MaNa has a robo facility. He's holding at the front as well. I mean, there's just no way. We're going to see everything in the natural starting to go down, and DNS just, he'll lose the DC Shrine before he actually gets it up as well. So this is going to be game number 1 going the way of MaNa in the PvP series. So MaNa going to move 1-0 up as he just finishes off this last pylon here and continues to just chew his way through these buildings. So Observer comes out again, he sees the DT Shrine, he's not actually cleaning it up just yet, he's going to start targeting now, should kill it off in time. I mean, DNS doesn't even have, okay, he's actually got a couple of gates still powered, so a little bit of a mistake there by MaNa, I suppose. MaNa's actually going to pull his units back from home just to try and fight this army, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I think it's just a case of the force fields right now are being very annoying. MaNa might very well lose his natural nexus, but that's okay, really, because his opponent's going to lose his natural nexus as well. And look at them force fields stopping these units from kind of getting into the, escaping as they want to. And that's going to be a blink force to seal the deal. MaNa takes game 1 of the. It's going to be interesting to see what DNS changes up here, because, I mean, it wasn't really kind of a bad opening from him at all. It made a lot of sense. He was trying to expand against a very aggressive MaNa play. And then in the end, I mean, he probably had enough units to really take a fight. But obviously MaNa's plan was never to take a fight. His plan was to cut the army in half or stop it getting to the main base and just go from there, you know? So MaNa never planned to take a fight, and he didn't take a fight. And I mean, you know, it was a well executed. You know, his plan was to do what he did, and he executed it well. And yeah, just going to be going into this. So the upper left hand side is going to be our red Protoss player. Is from Team Liquid. Is MaNa. And to the bottom right is going to be our blue Protoss player from Against All Authority. Is DnS. So as we enter this game number 2, Prime Terrace is obviously a bit of a weird map because of the gold base. I mean, in PvP, it basically means if you get kind of contained and you don't get your expansion down, and your opponent does, you're really going to fall very far behind very quickly, which is kind of the case anyways, but it's going to be even more, you know, it's going to be kind of an even more kind of, you know, it's going to be even further behind that you fall, so I have to be a little bit careful about this. As you see this probe just coming down towards the lower right hand side of the map to have a little bit of a look to see what is going on and what is happening. As you're going to see DnS just moving out onto the map here from with his probe to kind of get some scouting as well. So just going to be seeing this probe moving towards the upper left hand side, and yeah, just going to see this probe moving towards the upper left. We're going to see a couple of gateways coming down for both players too. So both players going into the double gateway opening once again. So far, just the same as what we've seen previously. And we're going to see that cyber core about to finish up also from MaNa, so pretty much the same as what we've seen previously. And we'll see, I mean, we'll see if there's any differences. It's going to be Stalkers initially, it seems. But no, actually not from DnS. He's going to go Adepts this time. So he's going to look to try and slow down the economy of his opponent a bit, try and get some damage done. And we'll see what his follow-up behind this is. Probably, I mean, Stargate is a very common way to kind of follow up these kind of Adept-based openings off of 2 gates. I mean, something like a Twilight for Blink doesn't really work because you're making Adepts early, or you can definitely transition into it. Robo, I guess, kind of works out sometimes, but probably a Stargate is like the most common way to sort of go around things, so we'll see how that goes. As we have this probe just coming down towards the lower right hand side of the map. Did you see that pylon? No? Oh, he spots the probe for a split second. DnS is so close to seeing this pylon in the middle of the map. So kind of interesting pylon. We're going to see another gate from MaNa. Is he just going to go kind of free gate aggression? Is he going to proxy a Robo? Right out in the middle. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the proxy is going to come in such a weird location. I kind of almost feel this has to be sort of a warp-in pylon more so than anything else. As you can see, these couple of deaths from DnS, they have stuck around. They are going to start shading in towards the main base. And away they go. So into the main base they head, and well, there's a Stalker here to greet them. There's a Mothership Core ready to overcharge. Let's see how many kills they get. Just one so far. Going to pop around to the other side and just survive a little bit longer because he's out of overcharge, which is of course nice. And these couple of Stalkers taking a fight, which they can't really win, not for Mothership Core here. So we're going to see DnS forcing MaNa back. And well, workers killed is at 3. Not too many, but he does come out of this with a 5 worker lead overall. So DnS takes a little bit of a lead off of his opening here. Still is piling in the center for MaNa. And see where that comes into play here a little bit later on. He's still 4, he's 4 Stalkers against 2 right now because of the fact that he's been able to, well, now he's 3 Stalkers against 2, but just because of the fact that he's been kind of producing Stalkers from the start and not Adepts. So he's a little bit ahead in terms of Stalkers. Going to warp 1 more in, 2 more in. Looks as though he's really going to try and pressure here in the next couple of moments. So he'll be looking to put on a whole bunch of pressure over the next few moments, and look to see if he can get anything done. But with a Mothership Core and Photon Overcharges with sentries to force field, I don't really think these Stalkers are going to be too useful in the long run. We are going to see Twilight on the way up, so MaNa probably looking for a Blink play once again. We're also going to see him heading in towards the, DnS is once again gone Robo into Twilight, so may go for his own Blink. Kind of just with a Robo for a little bit of safety as well, get that Observer out and so on. So, see how this goes. We're going to have the Twilight finishing up in the very near future. So Twilight going to finish up, and again, an Observer just on the way out, going to be popping here in just a few moments' time. So Observer about to pop out, and we're just going to be seeing these Stalkers coming back in towards the natural, into back towards the main base. Just splitting up, just in case there's like an Oracle or something on the way, or just in case he needs to defend. So just splitting his units up, ready to defend, and MaNa's just going to sit back at least until Blink finishes most likely. Then he might move onto the map once again and try and utilize the mobility which that upgrade gives to his units. Stalkers again, just looking to try and connect on, Hallucinate Phoenix there if possible. I'm going to just chase that hallucination down. And hallucination is just continuing to kind of move around the bases, so hallucination just move around the bases, looking to see what's up. Going to end up popping there. Hallucination does end up popping, and well, we're going to see again. Blinkers on the way for both players currently. Just both setting up, getting ready to roll. We'll see another Immortal coming down to the low ground. We're going to see a Assimilator coming down here as well for MaNa. It's just going to pop down an Assimilator. We're going to see another gate being added on, maybe a couple of gates. Gates being added on then from DnS, and just setting up to see what he can get into. It's really not that kind of not that weird a sort of setup, I guess. We're going to see this Hallucinate Phoenix is just going to end up falling. 4-5 gates on the way up for both players. Neither kind of well, DnS is going to try and take the third base once again. So again, DnS is like going for this kind of like the third base play. He's not going to waste time adding on his gates this time though. It looks as though MaNa might just have the same idea once again, where he might just lift up these sentries in the Warp Prism and just sort of try and blink up into the high ground, force field on the ramp, and just sort of try and just straight up win the game. You know, it looks as though it's just going to be the exact same thing right now, because you know what else is it going to be? DnS is actually quite far out. He's got an army which can definitely fight against the army of MaNa if he wants to. He's got a third base to fall back on as well. We're going to see these Stalkers just kind of pressuring up here. They're going to see that base to the right hand side. They're going to get themselves a few probe kills to begin with. And there's that sentry. I mean, the force was actually going to come in over here, so he's actually going to take the fight over to the side and just look to try and take down the third base. So he's not going to go for the main. He's just going to go for the third. So he's going to start working his way through this. Stalker's going to blink forwards now from DnS as well, but he just doesn't have the numbers to really fight in terms of Stalkers. So his Stalker's going to start falling. Now he is taking down the rest of the sentries of MaNa, but MaNa, I mean, he's just got so much army here. I think he might be able to keep on fighting, however, has to be careful. There's still sentries left over from DnS, although now that they're out of energy, they're not going to do much more other than just sort of, well, I mean, they'll tickle and do a little bit of damage, but not too much. Last sentry from MaNa gets taken down on the retreat. As we do see a few more, well, actually some of Death's being warped in now. It's going to see a big blink forward. It's going to pop these barriers on the Immortals, start targeting these Immortals down. The Immortals not being, you know, really in front to kind of protect them. DnS is going to turn this away. MaNa with another warping of units. He's got a lot of minerals spare. Might be time for him to try and start up at third base. As we see more Stalkers coming across here from DnS. DnS might actually just be looking to kind of, you know, just straight up kind of counter-attack and just try and get damage done. He's 10 army supply ahead, so it might not be so bad for him. He's going to see a big blink forwards there from DnS, and I mean, MaNa has to be careful with his blinks. I think he has to, for the most part, use them defensively, more so than using them aggressively at all, so let's be a little bit cautious. We are going to see DnS backing away, so in the end he did lose the third base. MaNa will start his own third base. MaNa sitting about 6 workers ahead off of the, you know, over these two bases, so a slight income advantage for MaNa. But DnS will sit in a sort of situation where he's just going to be able to rebuild those workers. He'll start the third base soon, I'm sure. Actually see MaNa once again down the right hand side. He's completely out of position compared to his opponent's army. And so we might see a little bit of a weird sort of base trade sort of scenario here, where MaNa is already warping in more units over on this side of the map and might get ready to just attack on in towards his opponent's natural. And he's just going to have a slight upper hand in the initial base trade, but DnS is going to end up in a situation where he's got a bigger army. So MaNa needs to shut down as much as he can right now and try and supply block his opponent, because the faster he shuts this down, the less units DnS gets out. And you know, if he can slow down DnS's units from coming out, then maybe, just maybe, he can get another warping of his own back at home, and that might just make the difference here, as we are definitely entering this base trade. And we are going to see MaNa, well, he cancels this base to the left-hand side, so he can afford a bit more, but he's actually already supply blocked. We're going to see 4 Novichovs coming down from DnS as well right now, as we're going to see a few probes just hiding to the side. Warp Prism going to come to evacuate them, and that's the sort of little thing which is definitely going to be a savior for DnS in this game. He saves 4 of his last 5 probes on the map, and that is absolutely huge as he backs away from them as well. So MaNa, all of his probes are probably just here in the main base. He has to run them out. There's no way he's going to get a Warp Prism over here to protect it, so he's going to lose every single worker. So he's only got the buildings that are already on the map. Pretty much all these workers going down. There's a few still left around, unless he's already got one on the map. He's got one on the watchtower. Okay, well that's a bit of a save. He's got one over here, but he's not going to notice it in time, so he's going to lose it as well. And he's got one more still on the gas. So he's got one probe on the watchtower, the right-hand side, which is sort of going to save him momentarily. Now, the probes for DnS. So actually, MaNa has more money to play with here. As a Hallucinated Phoenix is going to start moving around. MaNa going to start, well, does he start a Nexus, or does he start up a Simulator, or, you know, what does he do? He's got the money to start up a Nexus. DnS going to think the same thing. He also starts up a Nexus here. He's going to see MaNa blinks down. He's going to kill off this Nexus of his opponent a little bit faster than DnS kills his opponent's Nexus. I mean, MaNa's definitely just a little bit ahead in the base trade. He's just got that little bit, you know, he's just killed things off a little bit faster here, but it doesn't really matter if his opponent has a Nexus up on the other side of the map. Now, MaNa is still deciding what he's going to want to build with this probe to the bottom right. Hallucinated Phoenix continuing to fly around and look to see what's going on. And we're just going to be seeing the, I mean, these units just going to look around. It's going to be a weird situation. The army supplies have somewhat evened up, 59 to 61. I mean, we look at the units tab, it's 24 Stalkers to the 18, that one Immortal will add a lot, but the Sentries as well for DNS. I mean, the ability to Force Field is just going to create such a difference for the most part of this, so, let's see how it goes. We're going to see this, Hallucinated Phoenix kind of coming along. MaNa has rebuilt their base down to this bottom left-hand side. Going to keep his probe and the Warp Prism off to the side as well. Here's the thing though, DNS has a gold base, he's going to be able to mine from it as well with 4 workers, so eventually DNS rebuilds. And MaNa, well, eventually he rebuilds too, but a lot later than his opponents. These Adepts are going to shade up to the high ground. He's going to see the mining as well, so he knows he's in a situation right here where he has to get something done, where he has to try and make this happen. Going to see these Adepts shading forwards. I mean, with these Stalkers, he can maybe come up the ramp and he can maybe kind of come up here, kill a sentry, back away. You know, kill a sentry or two, blink away. That's exactly what he's going to do. He kills a sentry, loses a stalker, but ooh, then Force Field's actually going to work against DNS. Now they're losing a stalker because of them. But not just yet. Observer overhead, I like that because, I mean, you look at this, I mean, what does DNS have to deal with an Observer? Well, absolutely nothing. DNS going to have to make a lot of pylons before he's ready to realistically kind of keep on trading here. So we're going to see, again, just coming up, he's going to come in, pick off a stalker, blink away with his army. He didn't actually get a stalker in the end. We're going to see a big blink forwards from DNS, actually. We're going to see some Force Fields coming down too. Players are trading now 55 to 55 in the army supplies. I mean, this is the thing with these kind of higher blink stalker numbers. MaNa can definitely get in there, kick off a unit and get away a lot more easily or a lot more effectively than DNS can. He's got to keep trying to do this. I mean, it's going to take DNS a long time to rebuild. But that's what he's kind of got to rely on, as MaNa's starting to build a pylon of his own. And I think MaNa himself has got to kind of figure out what his plan is here. Maybe a gateway. He wants to get that probe mining ASAP. I mean, every little bit of every little bit of money is going to help out. I was going to see MaNa. And it is scary for him. You got to remember that. I mean, one mistake and he's gone. We're going to see him miss blinking there. He's going to lose another stalker as well. Now he blinks away completely. Adept shade up. He's still got an observer up on that high ground, but a little bit pinned back. I'd be following this entire army with the observer right now. Especially if he can recognize that there isn't an observer for his opponent, because then he's got nothing to lose from doing this. DNS takes a 2 army supply lead, so it's still a pretty close situation. 5 stalker advantage still to MaNa. Of course, an immortal and sentries to his opponent. MaNa also has some adepts as well. He has 4 adepts apparently. 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th adept? Oh, he's got an adept on the watchtower to watch for his base kind of being taken down. Again, coming in, blinking away, kills off another stalker without losing one. It's going to be a continue. It's going to continue to be kind of this sort of situation here for MaNa for just a little while. As we're going to see the stalkers blinking away again from both players this time. MaNa needs to be careful as he might lose an adept. Army supply sits 1 ahead, 1 advantage for MaNa here. I mean, it's just these little things as, oh, the Immortal takes a lot of damage. Manual activation on the barrier saves it there. As we'll see, there's Adept shading up again, just looking to see the situation. Here's the thing though, actually 4 overcharge available now, but another stalker falls. MaNa's definitely been taking the better trades the last few moments. As we're going to see these Adepts thinking of shading up once again. We're finally at this point though, where actually DNS is going to be able to start warping in units. So DNS is going to be able to start warping in units. MaNa's getting to that stage as well. I guess soon. He's got a lot of pylons. He's going to have to build a gateway. That's his next thing on his list. But he's also rebuilding workers. He's also not on a gold base like DNS is. I've seen another blink and MaNa gets a stalker, but he loses an adept. We're going to see him continue to fight here. Mothership calls a huge pickoff. Really nice pickoff for MaNa, as actually these 2 force fields are really working against DNS there. And MaNa takes a huge trade. That's a huge advantage now. So, again, this Immortal not really doing very much. Getting caught in the back of the units, not really doing a lot at all. He's going to blink up. Oh my god, MaNa's going to commit to this. What a big blink forwards. It's a huge commitment from him. He's just going to keep on trading. The Immortal goes down as well. No barrier. As these stalkers, they're going to start blinking away now. MaNa, I mean, overall, how good a trade was it? We're going to see the Warp Prism micro can definitely help keep a lot of these stalkers alive. It's like a secondary blink. As MaNa is really committed to this, he realizes his opponent can warp in units now, and that's not a situation he wants his opponent to be comfortable in. As we're going to see him continue to fight these sentries. I mean, they don't do the damage, but they have a Guardian Shield, but now that's gone as well, and DnS is trying to keep on blinking, trying to keep on microing with the Warp Prism, but it's not enough. MaNa has enough units here. His Stalkers are so low on health, but he's going to blink forwards. He's going to take the last few Stalkers down, and MaNa's going to end up breaking DnS at the very end. A really tense base trade. DnS has to GG out. Going right down to the wire there in the very, very end, but man,